Jordo here. Hello, everybody. We got some stuff to talk about with Boston sports here. Been a weird run in the playoffs so far for the Bruins and the Celtics. Game one for the Celtics, obviously. Put a whooping to the 76ers. Um, Game two, not so much. Just wasn't. Didn't feel like we played a good game. That second quarter was a lot. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the stats here. I know Brown and Tatum had a game. I'm trying to pull up the team stats here. I can't remember what we shot from the field. But yeah, overall, game one, fun game to watch. I think it's funny the way the Celtics kind of are doing it right now. It's pretty cool. Jaylen Brown is still getting his respect as a big dog now, especially after the season he had. Um, it's almost like they take turns. Like one half, Jaylen Brown's the guy, the other half Tatum's the guy, or maybe the first half is Tatum, second half is Brown. It's weird. Tatum's doing his thing though. He's doing everything that he did before the injury. He seems to be back. I still think he has another step to take before he's back to his full self, but rebounds, assists, points, the defensive side of the ball, he looks fantastic. Jaylen Brown still one of the best scorers in the game. One on one, not many people are stopping Jaylen Brown one on one. Rest of the teams look good. Pritchard, White. The Sixers aren't a joke. Tyrese Maxey's an animal. I think we should get this series cleaned up pretty quick, but I could see it going six. I'd like to say five, but I can see it going six. I don't see it going seven. I'll probably live watch throughout the playoffs, and then going forward with the Patriots, the Manchester United games. I'll be live watching a lot of those games, elimination games in the playoffs for hockey and basketball because it's hard to stay on top of 7 games a series. You know what I mean? But elimination games, maybe the occasional game in between, especially if there's some bad blood or something. I'll be live for all the Patriots games going into the season. I'll probably watch the draft live. So we'll be getting some live content on this page here pretty soon. But I do want to talk about the Bruins because I'll tell you what, I grew up played hockey my whole life. As you can see, I got my jerseys up on the wall there. Played hockey my whole life. Kind of watch the Bruins all the time. I never missed a game for years. Once I got out of college, stopped playing hockey, kind of stopped watching. Game one was actually the first game that I sat down for and sat through, and I was like, oh, this is great, and about 9 minutes left in the third. This is something I'm going to get into here, so this is going to turn into a spiral. We're going to be on this for a minute because this is something in all sports that I don't agree with. But about 9 minutes, 10-minute mark in the third of game one for the Bruins, you can see that they started to sit back, try to protect their lead. Lot more dump the puck in and change, and let's just there wasn't any hockey really being played from the Bruins except just kind of trying to sit back now and weather the storm. About 9 minutes, I said that I did feel like we were gonna lose the game. I was watching with my girlfriend and her brother goes, "Oh no, you guys are fine. Like 9 minutes up 2-0, you guys be okay." They scored one. He goes, "Oh," they scored the next one. And he was like, "Oh, uh-oh." And I was like, "Yeah, this is what we do." This is what we do, though, right? So we lose the game that we're up all game. Yes, Buffalo played good. They had a lot of shots. They played a good game. But we were up 2-0, halfway through that third period. But all I could think about was, as a Bruins fan, yeah, I know we got the cup. But the disappointment. Think about Chicago. We lose it in 30 seconds. We had the best season of all time, best regular season of all time. We get bounced in the first round, and we had a lot of leads in that series. I don't remember the number directly, but we led a lot in that series, and we lost games in the third period because it's different coach doesn't matter. We got to learn in sports, and this is where my rant's going to start, because soccer, football, hockey. Baseball is a little different. Basketball is a little different. You can't just sit back and play defense on basketball because when they score, you get the ball. You know what I mean? So why do coaches still think it's a good idea to sit on a lead? Isn't the best way to keep a lead is by trying to build on it? Like, let's think about soccer for a second, right? You go up 2-0, going to halftime, park the bus. But now you're just weathering the storm. They're whipping in crosses. They're getting corners. They're getting throw-ins, set pieces. They're possessing the ball. They're trying to make runs and hit guys for headers. Do you not think that you have a better chance of winning that game if you possess the ball in their end and try to score, right? Like, why are we just sitting back and parking the bus? Where hockey's the same way. You're just going to sit there, get the puck up to the red line, dump it in, and go sit back again and let them just shoot. Hockey, of all sports, is the craziest because you can get 20 shots in 6 minutes. They just start shooting. The Sabres do it. That's one of their things. They shoot from the point. They're not afraid for they have an elite D core that all of them can score. I mean, they got 3 top 5 picks on their defensive core. I mean, that's the last team I would want firing shots because a tip, a deflection off a skate, a screen. There's so many ways for that puck to get in the net, and that's what you saw in the second half of the third period in Game 1 was just pressure. And hockey's not a sport you want to give up pressure. You need to, and yeah, people get tired, but so is the other team. They're on the ice just as long as you, right? And if they're losing, they've been on the back. They're a bit more desperate. But it's like, why are we so even football? Let's touch on football for a second, right? The prevent defense. How many times does a team dominate all game? They could be up 3 touchdowns, and they're in prevent defense, and now the other team's quarterback dinking and dunking them, 5-yard pass here, 6 yards to that fucking sideline, right up the middle, 10-yard pass, first down, balls down, because there's so much space. How often does a home run play work in any of these sports? A Hail Mary, or maybe not Hail Mary, maybe you just streak, Tyreek Hill or anybody. You streak your fastest or best receiver down the field and put him in one-on-one against the safety. There are other ways to play the game without just focusing on not giving up the big play, because the big play isn't usually the play that kills you in any sport. It's the little plays. Football especially, I've said for a long time, these coaches that just sit back and play prevent defense, that's why Atlanta fell victim to the Patriots. That's why Tom Brady thrived when he did. He did a lot of things in the fourth quarter. His teams would fear his ability, so then they'd let him get hot. Why would you let the best quarterback ever? I think he is, but I put quotes because some people don't agree, and that's fine. Why would you let him get hot? Get his arm going, dunking around, because he's a game manager. That's what he's going to do. He won't throw a bad pass within 20 yards, right? So why are we sitting on that and letting him just do that? And, we'll keep him inside. That's where he thrives. Make him throw the long ball. Make their running back break out of the hole and get a 50-yard run, because that's not going to happen as much as an NFL-level quarterback throwing 5, 6, 7-yard slants all the way down the field until they get into field goal range or a touchdown. It's maddening. In hockey, we're so worried about giving up breakaways. You can play offense without giving up breakaways. There's a very easy system for that. It's very easy. Whatever side the puck is on, the other D-man takes a step out past behind the blue line. Then he's a layer, right? And then he's still got within stick range of the blue line. So if the pass comes across, he can take a step up, catch the pass. Other D-man drops out, or third guy high. You don't need 3 guys behind the goal line. Center plays almost high circle area. Now you have support. You have options. Harder to get breakaways when there's guys up there holding the passing lanes and holding guys in. It's maddening. Like, why are we in 2026 claiming to old ideologies that have never worked, ever? They've never worked. None of these ideas. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Right? Everything works sometimes. But I think more often than not, the comebacks happen when teams sit back, other than when they keep the foot on the team's throat they're beating. I think if the Patriots, I think if the Bruins seriously played the same way all game, or the same way in the last 10 minutes they did the first 50, probably 3-1. Buffalo probably scores 1, maybe even 2. But they have to pull the goalie. We get an empty netter. But because we're sitting back, they're getting chances too early. We sit back at the 9-minute mark. We can sit back at the 4-minute mark because they're going to want to pull the goalie, right? And then we have a chance to get some empty nets, and that just frustrated me. And I just had to get... That's something I bitch about in football season. I bitch about it in soccer season. I bitch about it in hockey season. I do not like sitting on leads. I am a hockey coach now, and I will never, ever, ever allow my team to sit on a lead. We will not take what's working and push it to the side and hope that just sitting there and praying to God they don't score. That's not what we do. If we're up 3-0, we're going to go up 5-0. We're going for the win. We're not giving them a chance. My favorite thing I always said, even when I was gaming or when I was playing hockey, baseball, football, all the sports I played growing up, You can suck the life out of a stadium. You can suck the life out of a team, out of the players, out of the fans, out of the coaches, anybody. But if you give them one glimpse of hope, so all of that work you put in the rest of the game is gone. As soon as they get that hope, because that's what you try to suffocate as an athlete, right? You want to dominate everybody, and you want them to think, I just want to get out of here. This team is not fun to play against. They're suffocating us. They're physical. You want to drain their hope. Because they might have their best players, and their best players are going to do their thing, but if they're hopeless, mistakes are going to happen, and there's a little bit less effort. But then you have a team getting, cakewalked, and you start sitting back, they get hope. That second effort picks up again. That extra 1%, they're giving 99, they give that 100 because they have hope. That stuff's detrimental in sports. And that's what happened in Game 1 with the Bruins. They gave the Sabres hope, and the Sabres very easily capitalized on that. And it almost happened again in Game 2. We did the same thing. And it's crazy because if you pay attention to the Bruins series, right, what they're doing is they're looking to counterattack. Right, the Bruins are looking to get possession and send a guy. And how many breakaways? I think they had 3 or 4. They almost had 6, 7, or 8. They had a lot of chances at really putting that game away, and it was working. Buffalo was having trouble because they couldn't get everybody up the ice and attack. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Buffalo couldn't get up that ice and attack because if the Bruins got that puck, they're going the other way. And these guys, if you get caught too far up, you're leaving your goalie out to dry. And they were worried about that. We did it in Game 1. That's why we got the 2-0 lead, too. We were very good on the counter. Even though Buffalo had a lot more pressure in Game 1. But I just don't, I don't like that. And, yeah, I mean, it was 4-2. But it was a scary 4-2 because we were under a lot of pressure. Swayman had to make some big saves in the end of that game. Some guys had some big takeaways, some big blocks, some big poke checks, some big clears. And that's what you got to do to win a cup. That's what you got to do to win a playoff series, especially in hockey because it's the most competitive sport, top to bottom. Anybody can win any day. But all in all, we get a game in Buffalo, 1-1 series. Celtics are 1-1. I did want to touch on the Patriots a little bit. I don't want people to get their hopes up about A.J. Brown. I know we've seen rumors that they're waiting until June or July 1st. I can't remember. One of the J months, the 1st, to finalize the trade. And I've seen that this has been a big rumor, but I haven't seen a credible source confirm that this is a thing. It's just rumors, and it's exciting, and I hope it happens, right? We all do. A.J. Brown would be great. I think he's been almost forgotten about a little bit in Philly. I think that just the way Philly's offense runs, we kind of forgot how good A.J. Brown still is at football. We remember how good he was, and we kind of think people think he's washed, or A.J. Brown and Drake May would be a problem. But let's not get our hopes up on that. I do like Romeo Doubs. Or Dubes, however you pronounce it. I think that's a big signing, and I don't want to see Butte go. I've seen some rumors that he's on his way out, blah, 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 blah. Maybe that has to do with the A.J. Brown thing, and I do want Butte to have a good career. So if we do bring in A.J. Brown, there's no room for Butte. He's behind Dubes. Then send him out. But until things are finalized, I don't want to hear anything about Butte. He has been one of our most surprising players, breakout player. He was very good at LSU. He had some issues, off the field, and then he kind of had some attitude issues and gained some weight, and but he's shown he's a Patriot, right? He's shown up, he's professional, he's worked hard, and it's I'm kind of avoiding the Red Sox right now. They're a tough watch. Still young. It is a young team. There's a lot of young pieces. I know we do have Trevor Story and Chapman. We get some older guys, but I do hope the Marcelo Mayer and Christian Campbell projects work out. I think they both got a lot of talent. I think they just need to get up to that big lead. It's hard. You can be the best player in the world at every level until you get to the highest level in the world, and there's still such a big step to get to that second point, to get to that pro-ready consistency level. It's a big step, but there's a lot of people that fail. I mean, you go look at the MLB drafts. A lot of those first-round kids never sniff a game in the majors. You know what I mean? Baseball is the hardest sport to scout. Because a guy you can hit 92 consistently, right? And then all of a sudden you get to the hundreds, and then the guy's got the breaking ball that drops 30 miles an hour off, and that's a different game. It's a completely different game. Roman Anthony's an animal. I think this year is his coming out party. He'll be in this kid could be an MVP candidate. Maybe he will be this year, but I think he'll be in the conversation okay, this kid going forward is one of the best players in baseball. I think that'll happen. But all in all, I got some videos going on the Red Sox. It's just been hard to watch right now, especially with playoff sports going on. It's just hard to sit down for a Red Sox game right now. Yeah, so I wanted to touch on something else, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, the Charlie McAvoy hit. A lot of outrage online that was a dirty hit, and how would you go for the knees? It looked to me like he was already the puck was going right by the Buffalo player, and it looked like the hardest thing to judge in sports, because it's very easy to watch something in slow motion, right, and say, oh, it's very easy in slow motion to do that. Hockey's the fastest sport in the world. You have milliseconds to react to things, and if you've never played at a high level, then your opinion really just doesn't matter. You could play house league or town league, you know what I mean? And no one there is really that fast. It's a slower game. It's still faster than, other sports. But, once you get into like juniors and college and AAA hockey for, U16s, U18s and stuff like that, the speed of the game is always at the top. And you got to make decisions quick, and you learn how to process the game at that speed. I think McAvoy was just going for a hip check to get the guy off the puck, trying to get an early step to keep that puck in the zone, and I think it was a worst case scenario. I think the ref got the call right. Tripping, clipping, same thing. I would have called clipping, but tripping, clipping, same penalty. Take a guy out of his legs. It is what it is. He did get low. He was also a taller guy. McAvoy's not a giant. He's right around 6 foot, 6'1". He's not humongous, not small. He's just very average NHL height. On a bigger player, it's very easy to get caught a little below the hips there and kind of look like you're going at the knees. I don't think there was anything malicious there. I think Buffalo answered that well with the fight. I think Buffalo, as a hockey fan, I like when teams answer the bell, the show for their player, and they go out, they hold people accountable for dirty hits or what they deem a dirty hit. It's its own governing system, hockey, right? That's what fighting is for. It governs the game. Like maybe a guy gets a cheap hit, doesn't get a penalty, refs let it go, he doesn't get suspended, but the team doesn't like it. Answer the bell. You got to fight. Look what happened in the Tampa Bay. Was it Tampa Bay Buffalo? I think it was the Tampa Bay Buffalo game in the regular season where there was all those penalty minutes and fights from the beginning, and it all started because oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. You guys know what game I'm talking about though. Was it Toronto? I can't even remember now. Maybe it was Toronto. I don't know. Someone had hurt. I think it was Austin Matthews got hurt, or someone hit somebody, and then there was just a bunch of bad blood. So that guy comes out and he stands on the ice. They haven't played in a while. Comes out, stands on the ice, basically gets into a fight. Doesn't really throw a punch, takes the butt whooping like a man. That's what you do, right? And I wish I could remember off the top of my head, but I just can't. I watched the game. I know it was Toronto because my friend from Toronto told me to put the game on. So it was either Toronto versus Buffalo or Toronto versus Tampa. I can't remember. But Toronto was one of the teams, and it was a retaliation to a hit in the previous matchup between the two teams that they didn't like. And he took the butt whooping. And that's what we're talking about with fighting. It's a governing system. Sometimes it's how it's got to be. And that's the sport we play. We sign up for it. You can't hide from it. You can't hide from it because your teammates won't even respect you if you do that. But yeah, elimination games, I'll probably go live. Celtics, Bruins. Once we get one of the teams up in a three-game series. Maybe if it goes 2-2, I'll toss on game 5, 6, 7. We'll see how it goes. I'll go live for some of those. You'll be getting videos from me probably twice a week on Boston sports, and then kind of just throughout the week on Man United. Because there's just a lot of updates with soccer. It's just a different world with rumors, and especially what Man United's going through right now with the coach. They need a whole new midfield. They're qualifying for Champions League. They need a lot of players come in. So there's going to be a lot of videos on Man United. There'll be some other videos on here about other sports, other games. I might live watch some big games outside of this. New channel, so I'm kind of trying to figure out what direction I want to go. It will be mostly Man United and Boston sports because that's where my loyalty lies. But I'll probably be watching some Champions League games. I might watch just for instance, like Man City Arsenal battle on top of the table Premier League right now in soccer. Might tune into their game. They already played, but I'm just saying that's just an example. Baseball, I'll be live for some baseball games. It'll probably be more like divisional Red Sox games. Maybe games with some bad blood, like something like we play the Padres and Manny Machado or something. I won't be watching 100 and something baseball games. There might be 20 throughout the season, not including playoffs. Playoffs is always different. But basketball would be Celtics and Knicks, Celtics Lakers, stuff like that. Celtics Heat, big games. With stories like say we get for instance, say Bam Adebayo comes to Boston, we play Miami. I would tune in for a game like that. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that we'll watch with the longer sports. Soccer, football. So Man United probably live every game. Patriots, I'll probably be live every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever, But you know what I'm saying. A little easier to go live with sports that play once a week. Hard to go live 82 games, for basketball, hockey. That's too much. I got a life too, but I am trying to make good content, and I'm gonna be watching a lot of games live. But I'll have those videos out ahead of time. I'll post on my social medias, when I'll be going live, watching these games and stuff. And eventually we'll get into a schedule. Right, it's early, so thanks for watching, and go Boston.